The pain that comes with loss, a breakup, and using those things to get closer to God. Let's talk about it. Now, very recently, I have gone through a breakup. This is a woman in which I'm still in love with, a woman I want to build the rest of my life with, a woman that I want to have kids with, that I truly am in love with. And it has been so difficult and such a hard experience for me. And I wanted to share with you guys some of the things that I've learned, some of the things that I've discovered in order to help cope with loss, in order to help cope with a breakup, and to truly get closer to God, to truly have Him be the center of your life. And so the first question is, where's your heart at? Where's your heart at in these times of struggle, in these times in which you are so desperate, that you're so upset, that you are so downtrodden? Where's your heart at as far as God? If you're like me, you get angry. I get angry at God all of the time, and it's bad. You know, I'm not saying that that is a good thing, that you should be angry at God. By no means. And as of recently, I've really started to just love God in the way that I no longer get angry at Him when hardship comes my way. But it's been a long, long road. So don't expect that to just be something that comes. But when we broke up, I was angry at God. I was like, why? Why would you put this girl in my life that we just clicked right off the bat, that we fell in love with each other? Why would you put us in each other's lives if you were just going to pull us apart? If you were just going to take us out of each other's lives? What is the point of that? And for a week or more, I was just angry. I didn't show outward signs to anybody else, but I was upset. I was upset with God. And so after a while, I started to pray, and I started to ask, I said, God, why? You know, why? I don't understand. And it was then that I started to see that God was not the center of my life, and He hadn't been for a while. He was not the center of her life, and He hadn't been for a while. And because of those two things, we had so many problems in our relationship. Now, these weren't things that were really occurring to us at the early stages of our relationship, but things that could have blown up in our faces and made our relationship end terribly. And our relationship ended on a good note. Our relationship ended with a peace. We couldn't be mad at each other. We couldn't be upset with each other. Nothing bad had happened, but it could have. And so I saw that as a gift. I was like, okay, thank you, God. But why? Why couldn't you have shown us this? Why couldn't you have made us the center of each other's lives? Or not made you the center of our lives. Sorry, I misspoke. And it was then that I realized that God was the center of our relationship. He was a heavy presence in our relationship, but He wasn't the center. And we wouldn't have seen that had we had stayed in that relationship. But had He been the center of our relationship would have been so much more mind-blowing than it already was. And that frustrated me. It made me so upset because I was like, why? This sucks. You know? And so I did a lot of reading. I did a lot of talking to people. I did a lot of praying, and that it was the most important thing. I prayed and prayed and prayed. And I just said, okay, let me just get closer to you. You're not the center of my life. Let me make you the center of my life. And a book that I started to read to make God the center of my life is this book called Suffering. It's not here right now, but it's called Suffering. So blah, 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 making God the center of your life. It's basically a how-to manual of making God the center of your life. And through all of these things, I have gained so much insight, so much knowledge. And I've really come to be at peace. And the first step to that is acceptance. And this was advice that a buddy of mine gave me when a woman told him that they were never going to get together. They were never going to date. She wanted nothing to do with him. And he said to me, Sam, what I had to do is I had to accept in my heart that we were never going to get together. I need to lose that hope that we were ever going to get together. Because once I truly got rid of that hope, it was then that I would be completely open to God's will, that I would completely want what God wanted for me. Because otherwise I would keep just desiring what I want, what I desire. And that way, if God put her in my life, if he wanted us to date, win. If God had something so much better for me, win. And I want to bring this back to the reading we had this last week was the wedding feast at Cana. And it is a perfect analogy for this because Jesus brought the best wine, or he made water into wine, and it was the best wine of the wedding. And it only came after, he only did it after the other wine had run out. And so that is a message to you guys, that in these times of struggles, in these times of hardships, when it seems like the wine is going to run out, trust in God. Trust that Jesus is going to bring the best wine. You just have to wait. Now, it's still hard. It's still hard because you want to just bury these feelings away. You want to get rid of all of this pain, all of these emotions that you're having because it hurts. It hurts. It is very, very painful. And I'm here to tell you that you need to take the harder road and you need to stop trying to drown away those pains. Because after all, would we want God to drown away the pain in his heart that he has for us? When we break his heart, when we don't do his will, when we go against what he wants, when we truly don't love him, when we truly don't show that love, when we break his heart, would we want God to drown us out? To just drown out all that pain? No, we would not want that. That would be terrible. So don't try and drown away that pain. Instead, in these times in which you're feeling so hurt and you're just missing that person or you're missing that thing, instead, come to realize that it is a gift, the time that you did get to spend together, the time that you did get to have. Realize the gifts and remember all the good times and all the good things that come along with it instead of focusing on all of that bad, all of those terrible things. My buddy gave me another piece of advice, and it was because I was struggling with this. I was struggling with, just trying to focus on all the good things. And my buddy said that's normal. It's a human thing. It's the high road that you're taking. It's the hard road. And he said, what I did was, instead, I used that to get closer to God. I would think, okay, I love her smile. I love her beauty. I love her humility. And instead I would say, I love Our Lady's smile. I love Our Lady's humility. And instead he would go to God and say, the time that I did know her, the time that we did get to spend together, God, that was a gift, and thank you. And just using all of those things to just redirect that pain, redirect that love to God, to give it to him, to surrender it all to him, and to just trust in his will. Now, I'm going to be making a second video that is all about putting God at the center of your life. So stay tuned for that. There's 3 things that I have left to say. The first thing is time. All of this pain, all of this hurt, all of these confusing emotions and stuff, it's hard. It's going to take time. Time heals all wounds, as they say, And it's hard because absence makes the heart grow fonder. You're going to miss that thing, that person, even more. And it's going to hurt. It's going to suck. But it's going to take time. And I know that is the hardest thing to hear, that there's no magic cure out there. There's no hocus pocus that's just going to make it all go away. Alcohol, cigarettes, just sex, and all that other stuff. Just trying to drown that all away, that's just dumbing down a pain that's just going to stay there. Don't try and do that. Don't try and do that. Time will heal those wounds. Trust in God. He will heal your pain. Second to last. Love is like a tree. Okay? Love is never going to change forms. It's never going to be a fish. It is never going to be a shrubbery. It is never going to be a water bottle. Okay? Love is a tree. It will always remain a tree. And though the seasons come and go, though the leaves fall and springtime comes and the flower buds come up, love will always remain. So if this is a person that you're in love with, you will always love that person. You will always want to serve that person and care about that person. That love will never go away. You will be able to get over them. You will be able to not be in love with them. But love will always remain, and that is a beautiful thing. It may hurt at times, but remember how beautiful love is in that desire to truly be a servant, because that is what love is service. Don't ever try and drown away love, because it is love that this world so desperately needs. Lastly, if you're going through a breakup, I got this advice through a book that I was reading, and it said, run to Christ. Run to Him as far as you can. Not as far as you can, but as long as you can. Just keep running to Him. And after so long of running, look around while you're running. Look around. See who's running with you. Guys, I love you. God bless. I'm praying for you. I'm Sam the Catholic. Stay tuned for next episodes.